4 shortest players in NBA history. When you're short, people will doubt your heart, ability, and skill set. For these 4 individuals, they've seen it all. They've been laughed at for having a dream. They've been laughed at for having a passion. But these 4 players got the last laugh, as they've all made a name for themselves in the NBA. Kevin Durant, a 7-foot freak of nature, used this quote, that hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. That stands true for 4 athletes that worked extremely hard with what they were dealt with. Keep watching to see the 4 shortest players in NBA history. Muggsy Bogues. Tyrone Bogues, better known as Muggsy Bogues, was 5 feet 3 inches and holds the record as the shortest player in NBA history. Bogues was drafted by the Washington Bullets in 1987, but he's best known for playing with the Charlotte Hornets alongside big man Alonzo Mourning and forward Larry Johnson. Bogues always talked about how he comes from a family of 5-footers, so when he stopped growing, he wasn't surprised. I always tell people, I think my mom had me when I was 5 feet 3 inches. I don't remember ever growing, Bogues joked. Bogues was raised and loved to play basketball, but of course he always had to prove himself. Because he was short, nobody took him seriously, or trusted that he could be an actual NBA player. I was little Tyrone. I always got this negative feedback from the game of basketball, Bogues said. There were some that told him he was wasting his time. He'd never play basketball. He remembers thinking, why were these people saying this? I knew I could play. When Bogues would play in middle school or high school, he would always be one of the last picked just due to his height. The game is being played, and we gotta sit over there and watch, he says. You get tired of just watching. Bogues and his friends found empty milk crates and cut bottoms out to make baskets to shoot in. They didn't want to wait for the next game or to hope they'd be picked to play in a game. We tied the milk crates on each end of the fence, and we had our own milk crate basketball pickup game. And it was a good time just because we could jump off the fence and dunk the basketball, he says. You had to be creative in order to play, and I wanted to play. Bogues knew if he wanted to make it, he'd have to be an aggressive defender and take pride on the defensive end. I had to play that way just because I was small, he said. A little kid that was just out there trying to create havoc, just trying to disrupt a lot of things. His defense was why people started to notice Bogues. Bogues played well enough in high school to receive a scholarship offer from Wake Forest, a school that had sent some players to the NBA in its rich history. Wake Forest came knocking on the door and I accepted that offer, he says. It changed my life completely. They would say, why did they waste a 4-year scholarship on a little kid that's only 5'3", who can barely see over a table, Bogues says. All this negativity started coming from so many directions. In a nationally televised game against North Carolina State, Bogues had 20 points and 10 assists. His reputation started to change. Then, he was drafted by the Washington Bullets in 1987. On the night of the 1987 NBA draft, Bogues was one of the many prospective players sitting in the crowd in New York. He had no idea what his future in basketball would look like. The 22-year-old, 140-pound, 5'3" Tyrone Muggsy Bogues became the shortest player in league history, and he still holds the record today. All the naysayers, the people saying you'll never play, why are you even thinking about it? A guy my size wanted to pursue a game that was supposed to be meant for the big guys, Bogues says. That was a special, special moment. Earl Wiggins. In a recent interview with 5'5" guard Earl Wiggins, he discussed his journey that led him to success as the second smallest player to ever play in the NBA. Wiggins was naturally gifted, but his height was the only gift he didn't receive. Yet, he found a way to make it work. Wiggins found what he was good at, and continually worked on his skill set when it came to basketball. Earl coaches at a basketball academy currently, and told the young athletes, talent is the most overrated thing in this world, because talent can quit. You can make it quit by lacking the necessary work ethic. That's the story of his life. Wiggins' mindset and preparation helped guide him through a 14-year professional career. Wiggins was actually undrafted coming out of Eastern Michigan. He was a multi-sport athlete, but basketball started to become his passion. People questioned if he had made the right move to basketball, knowing his height would make it hard for him to make it in the NBA. In the summer league after college, Wiggins scored 81 of 110 points for the team. Wiggins agreed that if you want to make it as a short athlete, you must be coachable. Wiggins admitted that he was cocky, arrogant, and not coachable at 10 years old. As a 5th grader, he would defeat teams by himself, scoring all the points in the game. He literally told his team that all they had to do was play defense. It wasn't fun for his teammates. His varsity coach took Wiggins aside and told him how he was uncoachable and introduced the concept of team and true leadership. Once Earl started listening to his coach, the team progressed, and Earl started to connect more with his coaches and teammates. That's when he became a great leader and took a stride in developing as a basketball player. Wiggins actually told his high school baseball coach that he was quitting the team because he was going to the NBA. At this time, he was standing at 4 foot 11 inches, and his baseball coach laughed in Wiggins' face. Earl didn't let that stop him. He had a vision and wanted to reach his goal. He pursued his goals and started only engaging with people connected to basketball, his friends included. There's value in your purpose and time, and Boykins showed that throughout his high school career. Earl was only underestimated because he was the shortest player on the court. People saw Boykins as a liability just due to his height. Boykins took on a different mindset and learned and took everything and looked at it like an opportunity. Just like teams have to adjust to big centers, teams would have to start to adjust to a player like Boykins because he was so aggressive and small. Earl always played against individuals taller than him, and he was able to find other avenues to defeat these taller players. When Boykins was 13 years old, his dad would only let him play against players that were older, bigger, and more skilled. Of course, these players were also stronger. This helped his preparation when it came to playing organized basketball in high school and college. His dad helped Boykins with his vision of playing in the NBA at some point. For Boykins, life was a chess game, and he called stalemate at the end of his career. "We use the same equipment, but we're not playing the same game," Boykins would say. "Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't put in that hard work." You've heard that before, and Boykins is living proof. Nate Robinson. Nate Robinson is a 5'9" NBA veteran that is most known for being a 3-time slam dunk contest champion. Robinson said that Allen Iverson inspired him the most when he decided basketball was going to be his occupation. He also said that he used to watch Robert Pack. He was a little dude dunking on people, but he isn't that little. Bleacher Report asked Robinson if he thought of himself as the NBA's greatest scorer ever who measured under 6 feet. "I know I'm filthy. I'm one of the greatest short guys to ever play the game. It doesn't show because of how most coaches use me, but if I was a player who knew he got 25 to 30 minutes a game or start, please, I'd be one of the greatest. I was labeled going into the league, went to a dysfunctional team in the New York Knicks, but it was fun. I had a blast. Wouldn't change it for the world." Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas is the shortest player in the NBA currently at 5'9". In 2017, Isaiah Thomas was close to leading many categories in the NBA like points per game. Thomas was the most prolific fourth-quarter scorer in more than 2 decades. He was overlooked so long due to his size, and in 2017, Thomas was in the conversation for MVP after leading the Celtics to the second-best record in the East. The Celtics knew Isaiah was faster than his defenders, so they'd move him off the ball and threw a bunch of screens to get him a step on his man. Thomas has the agility, strength, and quickness to where he could get by bigger defenders and make plays. Thomas is just 5'9". Thomas was the 60th and final pick of the 2011 NBA draft. He didn't have a summer league to showcase his game due to the NBA lockout in that offseason. Thomas in 2017 blossomed with the Boston Celtics and made 2 straight All-Star games. "All I wanted was a chance. That's all I needed. I will take care of the rest because I prepared myself for that moment, no matter if it was training camp or if it was being the water boy. If I was going to be a water boy, I was going to be the best water boy there was," Thomas told The Undefeated. Thomas had a bunch of things going against him. He was short for the NBA, was drafted last in the NBA draft, and didn't have any real exposure to what the NBA would be like due to the Summer League being inactive that season. Yet, he kept his confidence high, and did what needed to be done to get to where he wanted to be. He said he just kept working. "Work. I worked hard. I knew when I did get my opportunity, I would take advantage of it no matter what. There were times when my confidence would get low, like, why is this happening? When those questions came in my head, I just went to the gym. The gym was the only thing that would let my mind be free and feel like everything was going to be alright. I just put work in. Every time my opportunity came, whether it was in practice, whether it was down by 20 in the fourth quarter with 2 minutes left, I was ready for that moment. That work led him to a couple NBA All-Star Game appearances. When Thomas was asked about what those appearances meant to him, he talked about how he's come a long way. "I came a long way. Those are goals I always had in my head, that if I would have told somebody, they would have basically laughed at me. But getting the opportunity to be a franchise guy and getting the keys to the team, I could play at this level. I always believed in myself and believed that something like this short height by NBA standards could be a blessing in disguise. I look at it as a blessing. I've always been small. I feel like I got the advantage. This might not sound right, but I used my height to my advantage." Then Thomas talked about giving advice to people who were small that wanted a chance to play in the NBA or become a star at any other sport. Thomas said, "Have faith in yourself. Believe in yourself. Always have fun. As long as you believe in yourself, you'll be alright. There are going to be some ups and downs through everything. There are going to be a number of people all the time telling you that you're too small. They still tell me that, but I just make them eat their words." For Thomas, those ups were in Boston, but the downs came when he was traded away for Kyrie Irving. Thomas thought that he had the keys to the city, but was promptly traded for Kyrie Irving, following Kyrie being unhappy in Cleveland. Thomas is currently a free agent, as he looks for a team that will take a multi-year shot on Thomas. He would welcome back a reunion with Boston, and said he holds no grudges after the trade took place. It would be an awesome story if Thomas returned to Boston, but it doesn't look like Boston feels the same way at this time. Thomas will always have the greatest season for a short player. That won't change for quite some time.